What's going on, Flames Nation? It is another Tuesday night. It is still Destiny controlling season, and we are live. I'm Richie Longshots. This is the Sea of Red football podcast. I am joined with the man, the myth, the legend, all things Liberty Athletics, the godfather, founder, and owner of a Sea of Red, and that is Mr. John Manson. John, how we living this Tuesday night?
Doing good, long shots. I didn't realize you were a big Dancing with the Stars fan.
I wasn't until approximately 34 minutes ago when my wife said, let's watch the Dancing with the Stars finale. And I went, first off, didn't know you watched Dancing with the Stars. I think she just follows it on social media. But I watched for like the last 27 minutes and I went, oh, I have to go do the podcast. I was like, this is neat. Would I watch every week? Probably not, but.
You didn't even watch when Rashad was on? I didn't either.
No. Didn't he win?
Yeah, he did. He did.
I'm pretty sure he won. But speaking
I think
of winners,
I think that's his most famous claim to fame is winning Dancing with the Stars, not being Liberty's greatest running back of all time or being a good running back in the NFL for the Giants and others. But he won.
I would say more people probably know him for that. But speaking of winners win, as we know, and our Liberty Flames, massive home win on senior night, final home game of the year against Western Kentucky, score 38-21. And it is clear, if you watch the game, you know what we're going to say. Ran the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Quentin Cooley, as always, 24 rushing attempts, 166 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Billy Lucas getting it done as well. 419 rushing yards, and we confirm that is a school record.
It's 5th, actually. It's the 5th best, yes. And a couple of those top 5 are Coach Chadwell's teams over the last 2 years.
Wow, that's a preposterous number. It is always cool to see when people post that. The graphic of like how many teams does Ashton Genty have more rushing yards than? And Liberty's never on the list because we run the ball so well this year. And the other big stat, 4 turnovers, massive. We've said all year we've been waiting for that game where there were more than 2 last year. That was a big time trend. The Joker mask. I think the last few weeks we've starting to see that start to bubble, forcing turnovers in both capacities and then doing something with those turnovers. So great game to watch. I was at the Rutgers game, so I was doing a little dual screen, but won't be the case this week. Excited to be back at it. But John, you were there. You watched the game, watched the replay. Give us your thoughts. What you saw.
Yeah, I mean, this was the Liberty team we thought we had all season long, the team we were expecting to have. I mean, rushing for 400 yards, you never really expect that to happen, right?
No.
But rushing for, 300, something they've done each of the last 3 weeks, that's something we've come accustomed to see. And even in spite of, if you want to call it a slow start offensively to the season, Liberty's up to number 2 in the country in rushing, behind only Army, who's had a pretty good season.
And they only run the ball.
Yeah, prior to Saturday, they've had a good season, but no, I mean, this is the team we expected. And it was good to see, and I think Liberty's kind of. This team enjoys playing with their backs up against the wall. That was something Coach Chadwell talked about, in his post game, was the team's playing with their back up against the wall. And you saw, I just flashed it up here, I'll do it again, but Liberty staffer Bobby Ruff works with the defensive staff. He talking about, don't let us get that one. They'll get Kurt Schilling, back to the Boston Red Sox days when they came back from being down 0-3 against the Yankees. I think it was the ALCS, wasn't it? Back in like 2004, 2005, something like that. And they came back and won the series. At that time, it was the first time anybody had ever come back from being down 3-0 or 0-3 in a series. So, but I mean, this was kind of
John, real quick. Do you just want to relive all my previous sports traumas, my life traumas? Do you want to talk about what happened at my sophomore semi?
No.
Like, do we just want to go through everything in my life that was negative in the 2000s?
My bad.
It's okay.
Hey, we're not worrying about what's in the rear view. We're focused on what's in the windshield.
Yep.
And that's Liberty football. And
print the T-shirts.
Yeah, print the T-shirt. But no, we are talking about the rear view at least for a few more minutes in this Western Kentucky game. But then we'll get to Sam Houston. But no, I mean, the teams played with their backs against the wall in this game and played well. I mean, really dominated that game. Should have been up by more than they were in the first half. And fortunately, really that Billy Lucas run there on 3rd and 9 with 45 seconds left, back up inside your own 10-yard line when Liberty was just trying to run the clock out, and Western Kentucky coach Tyson Helton was calling timeouts, trying to get the ball back for them at midfield, which I don't blame him for.
No.
It was a right move, but Billy busted that run for 36 yards, I think it was. It gets out to
Saquon Barkley-esque.
Yeah, very much so. And we call the timeout, and then we're able to go down and score a touchdown, which was huge. I mean, that changed the game. You go from being up 7 and Western getting the ball to start the second half to being up 2 scores. And you kind of played from ahead the rest of the way. And, like I said, this was a Liberty team we were expecting all season. And it's great for them to show up that way in a big way Saturday.
Agreed. It's definitely has the making of, all right, this is the game that we'll be able to look back. All right, this might have been the turning point. What a lot of people thought was going to be a field goal game, taking advantage of the turnovers, playing as a complete game as you can on all sides of the ball, banging a field goal, even though it gets blocked. You know how hard you got to kick a ball for that to happen. So great to see it.
I mean, shout out to Colin Carhu. He's had a really great season and
phenomenal.
And when your kicking game is good when you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And your special teams units all around, but. That was something we were really concerned about, and even through the first week or two, we were concerned about it. But
we didn't know who the kicker was going to be.
No, we didn't, and he's come on really strongly and been consistent with his PATs, and obviously hit that one against UMass that was a walk off, and then he has that iconic photo of the team lifting him up afterwards, which is kind of cool, but good moment for him. But unfortunately, I think this is his last year, and we'll be looking for another guy next year. But no, we've needed him, and that field goal. We needed that field goal, to stay up 2 scores, and so it was good to see.
100%. So Conference USA standings, we are now down to the final week of regular season play, and as we've said so many times, we control our destiny now. Now we truly do. I know there was a moment we control our own destiny. It's like, no, it probably really didn't, but now we actually do. This week, Sam Houston State, Liberty, down in Texas. Both teams 5-2. Win, and we're going to the conference championship game. Jacksonville State locked up the home field for the conference championship game. Western Kentucky coming to town. Kind of cool. They probably did this on purpose to have these 4 teams kind of playing the final week. But all eyes going to be on that Liberty Sam Houston game. Now, is there a way Western Kentucky can still get in?
Yeah. All 4 teams, obviously Jack State's clinched, as you said, but all 4 teams have a path in. Now, Liberty's the only team that controls its own destiny right now. Liberty wins and we're in. Sam Houston needs a win and a Jack State win because they do not own the head-to-head tiebreaker or a Western, whereas Western needs a win and a Sam Houston win. They need a Liberty loss because they don't own the tiebreaker over us. So yeah, I mean, you going into the last week of the regular season, last 2 days of the regular season, when you get to Friday, and 4 teams are still alive in the conference championship race. That doesn't happen often. But, I was listening to Casey Keeler, Sam Houston head's coach, press conference earlier today, and he said that, which I didn't realize this, if this is true, but he said that last year Conference USA had the most one-score games of any conference in the country.
Wow.
And he was like, just basically stating the fact that this year it's the same thing. Like, this is a one-score league, and it really has been for the most part. I mean, even Kennesaw State, they got a win this weekend over FIU, but we joked about them, and obviously they beat Liberty. We know how that went, but I mean, they gave everything. Sam Houston won it. They were right there with them, took them to overtime, and UTEP's done the same thing. New Mexico State's been in games. We know what they did when Liberty played them, and it's really been. That's really what this league has been, especially when you talk about those top 4, really top 5 teams. I mean, Louisiana Tech has knocked off Western, obviously gave Liberty the chance to control their own destiny, and then they also were right there with Jack State. Really should have beaten Jack State and had that Hail Mary late. So it's really, and what Coach Keeler was saying was basically it's a one-score league. Last year we weren't good enough to win those games. They lost, I think, 4 or 5, maybe 6 games by 1 score. And we talked all off season and coming into the beginning of this year about them being a team that might take that next step, and they have. And it's because they've won these 1-score games. They beat a Kennesaw State and things like that. And obviously they got set back, to Jack State this past week and no longer control their own destiny. But they're a good team. That they probably have the best defense in the conference, and the best rushing defense in the conference, and it'd be a stiff challenge. But if you would have told any of us, if we would have said after that Jack State game or even after the Kennesaw game that we'd be sitting here going into this Thanksgiving week, this feast week, controlling our own destiny, I don't know if we would have truly believed that, but credit to this coaching staff and this team for fighting back, being resilient, and putting themselves in this position.
Yeah, shocking amount of fans that were like, "We're not going to a bowl game" after those mid-season hiccups. But it's nice to be in this position to know that, all right, hey, we're second choice right now to win the Conference USA, and it's not a massive long shot. But to be in the hunt after kind of what we've gone through has been, I'll take it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it a lot, Richie, you and I, this season on the podcast, is just, the expectation coming into the, and we'll wrap it up more as we get into the postseason and after the year's over. But I think it bears repeating now is the expectation from everyone, ourselves included, right? You lump us in there. The expectation for this team coming into the season was perfection. And anytime you're chasing perfection, the only thing you can do is let people down. And I think the team really felt that early on in the season. You could see that in some of the losses they had, or the games they had that they came back to win. Credit to them to coming back from 17 down against East Carolina, 14 down against New Mexico State, and 13 down against UMass. Credit to them for winning those games. But they really kind of play with that weight on their shoulders. And I think now that they've the losses are done, they're in the past, they now control their own destiny. They don't have to worry about that weight anymore, fighting for that, that perfect game, perfection, college football playoffs. That's all put to bed, and you can still play for everything you wanted, which is, a conference championship. And that's what you sign up for each and every season.
Yeah, I know I've said it before, but being a part of a conference allows you to have these opportunities and say what you want about Conference USA. Probably a down year to have four teams going bowling. All right, we'll take it. It'll be fun to root for those other three teams when we get into the bowl season. At least I'll be rooting for them. But another player that been rooting for, will continue to root for, and that is our next guest, who I actually know who it is this time. So excited to be joined. I'll be leaving, but joining Mr. Manson will be Jason Porter and defensive superstar Quentin Reese.
Virginia's best and most flames-friendly coffee comes from Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Ironclad Roasting serves up their beautiful beans at 2 cafes in Richmond, where you can enjoy their craft roasted specialty beans from anywhere in the country by visiting www.ironcladcoffee.com. Place your order there, and it will be directly shipped to your doorstep. Whenever you find yourself in the capital of the Commonwealth, pay them a visit at one of their 2 cafes in the Richmond area. Ironclad's owners, the O'Rourke family, are proud Flames Club members and season ticket holders, and now they're pleased to sponsor the podcast from CRA. Hop over to www.ironcladcoffee.com now to get your Virginia's best specialty coffee headed your way.
Multi-talented Quentin Reese, not just a football player, but also a good commercial man, if you want to say. How you doing, Q?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Doing good. It was unfortunate we didn't get to see you out there for senior day, but that's the way it goes. You know, JP, you and I kind of joked about the Madden curse. You know, it's kind of taken over a Sea of Red podcast curse, and I joked about it last week, and then I realized Q was likely to not play, and you know, we saw it from Brendan last year, missed the whole season, and now Austin, which, you know, prayers for Austin. He texted us earlier. He just got out of surgery today. So hoping for a quick and full recovery, speedy recovery for him. But now our guy Q gets banged up and is unable to play. So JP, we got the curse, man.
I know my voice hurt. No, I'm just kidding. I'm good. I know we were a little worried about that, and hopefully it won't translate any farther than that. But yeah, Q, it was rough seeing you come out for the coin flip in no pads and just the jersey. But congratulations just on senior day in general and stuff. I want to kind of kick off with a 2-part question, and I'm going to take us down that emotional road for just a moment. But love for you to kind of answer a little bit about what the program has meant to you. We got a lot of season left still, of course, but just tell us a little bit about what Flames Nation has meant to you as a player and as a man walking with the Lord, and then take us through just what Saturday was with senior day and in that recognition with your brothers.
When I hear Flames Nation, the first thing I think of is just a lot of love. And just, I guess throughout my 4 or 5 years here, the love has been unmatched, just from the staff I've been around, from the fans I've been around, the players, the brotherhood we have. It's all been unmatched. And I don't think it's like that anywhere else in the country. And I'm really blessed to be a part of it, in my opinion. And looking back on it, it flew by. But every moment I cherish, and I really appreciate everyone that poured into my life at my time on Flames Nation.
Well, Q, we've enjoyed cheering you on and watching you and the rest of the team, obviously, but throughout your career. You know, the first memory, I guess, that I really have of you is in the Cure Bowl. You got, what was it, 4 straight PBUs, I believe, to kind of get a stop and to help seal that win. That's one thing that I always remember. As a true freshman, you did that, and here you are 5 years later now, and leading the team to a 5th straight bowl game, and that's a lot of fun. But for you, what's non-football? What's the best memory you have of your time at Liberty? You can give us a football memory too, but I want to know your non-football memory that you'll take with you as you move on from Lynchburg.
It's kind of hard because a lot of my time here has been mostly football, especially when 2020 happened and COVID hit. At that point, it was really all just football. But for me personally, it's just the locker room relationships I have. Like, some of these guys are going to be in my wedding, and then it's just cool to know that what I was building and what I poured myself into has continued to grow, and guys see, I guess this is the results of my work and then just the work from the guys that came before us. And I really just say that brotherhood, man. There's nothing like it. I can't think of anything like it. I grew up with all sisters, so I've always been around all girls, and it's always been just kind of, where can I find my outlet? And it's always been football with me. And then when I got to college, being around guys who love the sport, love God, love the team, it's unmatched. And I just know I'm very blessed and lucky to have been at Liberty, because a lot of places it's not the same. Even though people might say it's the same, it's truly not the same. The culture's not the same. Just the coach is not the same. The love's not the same. And that's just one thing I appreciate.
Yeah, Quinn, quick recap of the Western Kentucky game. I know as a defensive guy, red smoke guy, man, the thing that jumped off the stat page to you guys was the 4 turnovers. That was huge, getting back in that turnover category. But watching the game's never easy when you want to be out there, obviously. Yeah. But tell us a little bit about how you thought the defense played and what you thought some of the strengths were defensively against Western Kentucky last week.
Honestly, I kind of thought they played better without me, maybe just a little bit. But it was just cool to see all those guys step up, because a lot of guys who maybe have been behind me in the depth chart, or maybe have been able to play a lot because of the guys that have been playing a lot, like Corey and Brylan, they've been playing a lot. But some guys like Eldrick, who hasn't been in the game a lot, or Eli, like, it gave them a great chance to just show up and show guys that they can be counted on too. And it's just kind of paving their way for next year as well too, so they kind of have that confidence that they can play and contribute to the red smoke as well too. And it gave me confidence knowing that I don't have to do it all by myself. I have guys that can support me when I'm not there and also support me when I am there. So I'm proud of where they played this week, and I just can't wait to see what they add on to it.
Yeah, another guy in the secondary, I think he played mainly corner, but Jaden Sweeney kind of jumped off the page a little bit to me just with his play. And he was a guy we heard the coaching staff, kind of talking highly of back in training camp. So it was good to see him make some plays out there Saturday as well. Q, so it's kind of like you guys are in the playoffs a little bit, right? I mean, win in advance, lose and go home, so to speak. But does that kind of feel like, you guys were in that type of environment, last week and now going into this week? And what is it like? Does it change how you guys go about your day to day, your week to week, as you're preparing for these opponents and these games, as you're trying to stay alive in this conference championship hunt?
Yeah, our coaches actually made that like a major point, kind of like the high school playoff semifinal round. It's win or go home, and a lot of guys kind of embrace that, and it's really good for us knowing that every game weighs the same in the grand scheme of things, and you have to prepare every game the exact same. So just for us on the back end, it's kind of just like, what can we continue to do, like the little things to make sure that we're ready for game day, know the game plan, and are ready to execute it. And there's nothing much to it than that, for real, and just not overcomplicating things or making it bigger than it is, because at the end of the day, it's still a one win. It's not 2 wins. It's not 4 wins. It's still 1 win. So just taking it day by day.
Yeah, Quinn, I think after the UMass game, I kind of had a line almost drawn across the calendar, to John's point, to kind of dovetail that a little bit, because when we got into Western Kentucky last week, and now certainly with Sam Houston coming up Saturday, it was like, this is the back half of the season, right? I mean, it's trying to decide whether there's going to be 2 more or 3 more games or 2 more games kind of thing. But as you look at that just a little bit, and you talk about that mindset that you guys are in the middle of right now, how important is it to sort of be thinking through having something on the line? And I'm not saying that there wasn't stuff on the line with UMass and maybe earlier on, but obviously as the stakes got a little higher, as things began to come into focus here these last couple of weeks, and to realize, hey, this is a shot for us to still get an additional game. What's kind of been the mindset from either the defensive side of the ball, or just even the team as a whole? I know you just kind of spoke to that, but just overall, how are you guys preparing for that? And has there been an advantage with that, knowing that it's all on the line right now?
Yeah, it's just giving us more to play for, and just knowing that we have a lot of seniors who this is our last ride with them. It's just, we got to put it all on the line, or whether that's last week or this week. It's just every week matters, and we got to make sure we focus on this week and take it to the best of our ability and really execute. So we look back, we're not in a regret on how we handled the situation or how we handled this week.
Q, last few years, a lot has changed in college football, from NIL, transfer portal, and these sorts of things. This week, you look on the other sidelines, Jalen Jimerson's playing over there. He's a guy that you guys are in the same locker room for a few years, and I'm sure have a good relationship. Tell us a little bit about Jalen, and when's you guys still stay in contact, and what's it like when you meet up on the field with a guy that used to be in your locker room and you used to do life with him? How unique is that? And tell us a little bit about Jalen.
It's really cool because there's no friends between the white lines, but off the field, we're the best as friends. It's really cool to just be able to play him. It's like a full circle moment because he was just on our team, and he's a great guy, great leader, great player, and it's just gonna be cool to be able to go against guys we've always kind of known. And I guess it'll be a little bit more personal just because we've been on the same team and same coaches and know each other. But at the end of the day, it's just a blessing to be able to play against each other, and we're playing college football, and that's a blessing in itself. So that's just going to be awesome to be able to see him at the end of the game and just know that we came from the same thing and we worked to get to the same place. And now look at us, we're playing each other.
Quinn, last question I got for you. Pretty balanced offensive attack here coming at us against the from the Bearcats' perspective. 195 yards of rushing and then 161 of passing. So with a balanced attack like that, what are you guys looking to do and what are you focusing in on so far?
Stop the run, because they have a very good quarterback who likes to run the rock a little bit. And I wouldn't say their receivers aren't as good as their running backs, but their strong suit is their run game. And it's going to be just our focus to make sure that we eliminate explosive runs and make sure we contain those guys like the quarterback and the running back and get the ball back to our offense, because they're also running the ball at a very high rate right now. And we can give them the ball for at least 15 minutes every half, we'll be good. And they'll punch it in and get us some points.
Yeah, they're a team that kind of reminds me of Jacksonville State a little bit with the way they attack the game. Little different, obviously, every team is, but they love that +1 run with their QB.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be a good challenge. But hey, it's November, it's Thanksgiving. You're playing for a conference championship, semifinal game, like
What
you
else can
said.
you wish for?
Yeah. So you expect it to be hard. You expect it to be a big challenge. Hey, Q, I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule this week, and I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and a great week, and hope to see you on the field soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. Go Flames.
Thanks, Quinn.
It's always good catching up with Q, and hope he can get back on the field sooner than later. He's been a great team leader, and we've been blessed to have him in the Liberty uniform. JP,
John,
no, go ahead.
John, I was just going to ask you too. I don't know if you've noticed this from your vantage point, but sometimes it literally feels like there's about 3 number 16s out there in some games. He is just all over the place. He's sideline to sideline, and was definitely missed on Saturday against Western. I mean, to his point, a lot of the guys stepped up, but you could tell we were missing the emotional leader on the field.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it was great having him on the sidelines, cheering the team on, but it's not the same. And to his point, he said the right thing is the team played better without him. That's not true. They certainly missed 16 on the field, but I'm with you. It is like seeing, sometimes you're like, how many you're like 16's all over the place. You got a couple guys wearing that same jersey. We read it out a few weeks ago, his stat line. I mean, he's filling up the box score every facet. But JP, a question for you. House hacking, that's a term I've heard recently. What is that? I don't know what it is. It sounds kind of violent, but what is house hacking?
Yeah, house hacking is not nearly as violent as it sounds. So this is an all-family audience podcast here for sure. But house hacking is one of those ideas that if you would have known about it beforehand, you probably would have jumped into it. It's kind of the coulda, shoulda, woulda of real estate. And the idea behind it for a lot of our first-time home buyers that may be out there is you find that first-time home for you. There's a lot of incentives for you as a first-time home buyer, lower interest rates, different credits that you may qualify for, that kind of thing. So you go ahead and get in that first time, that first home. And then the idea of house hacking is that you get a couple of roommates that help you offset the mortgage with that. And so they're paying you as you're living there. So you're basically the live-in landlord at your own particular house, your own personal house. And then if your lifestyle is such, and if you're in such a season where you live there for a couple of years and pay that house down, and then you move out, you go buy your second house and you replace yourself with another tenant. And so you begin a real estate portfolio like that. So it's kind of hacking the system is the idea behind that. Got some Liberty parents that are doing the same thing with students that are on campus. Their kids, I should say, who are coming to campus that realize that maybe by junior year they can buy something off campus and have their kids find a couple of roommates and the same kind of a thing, and have some investment portfolio income coming from real estate that way. So house hacking is kind of a broad term, but that's the idea behind it. It's a great strategy, and one that I spend a lot of time unpacking and talking to clients about. So my information's on the screen, and love to answer any more deep dive questions that people have.
Yeah, it sounds like when you were talking about it sounds like something that a college student's parents, makes sense, and And I've come across some, parents of college students that have done something similar, buying houses, for Liberty specifically, just because, so many Liberty students come from outside of Lynchburg and they come here
Right.
and you hear of that, and they'll buy the house and let their let their kids live in it for the 4 years or so. And sometimes they'll have roommates to help offset their mortgage cost and things. And then, 4 years later, you can, I guess maybe gift that to your son, daughter, or sell it to them, or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah, John,
I
I'll
think
tell
it's
you,
probably
I've got
something you've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I just real quick. It sounds like a rich man's philosophy a little bit, but just a real quick case study. I've got somebody who is not making a ton of money salary wise, who started in this process about 6 years ago, and they're on to their fifth house now at this point, doing that same philosophy. They just kind of roll on and roll on and roll on, and so it's very doable.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, JP, appreciate you. You got a lot of knowledge, a lot of Liberty Flames knowledge, and football, basketball. Look forward to having you on the call there here soon. Hopefully not very soon. We want to keep playing football a little bit longer.
That's right. That's right.
But look forward to seeing you hopefully down in Texas this weekend, and appreciate all you do, man.
Yes, sir, John. Thanks so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
What's up, guys? This is Zach McLaren, and welcome to this week's edition of the Liberty Flames Sports Recap. Last Friday, men's basketball started off the Paradise Jam with a 20-point blowout victory over Louisiana, 89-69. Women's volleyball saw their season come to an end, losing to UTEP 3-0. On Saturday, football with a huge win over Western Kentucky to keep their conference championship hopes alive, defeating the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 38-21. Adeline Fairley from the women's cross-country team placed 77th overall to conclude her stellar season in the NCAA championship meet. And on Sunday, men's basketball got their first ever Big 12 win in program history, defeating Kansas State 67-65 to advance to the Paradise Jam championship. Women's basketball defeated Towson 64-57 as well, and women's swim finished first overall out of 5 teams at the TYR 85 Invite hosted at Liberty. We're going to look at what's on the docket for this week. Men's basketball won the Paradise Jam championship last night, 62-58 over McNeese, a stellar start for the Flames. On Wednesday, women's basketball takes on Grand Canyon at 1:30 p.m., a big road game for the Lady Flames. On Friday, a huge game for football, a play-in game for the Conference USA Championship as football takes on Sam Houston State at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. If the Flames win, they're in. Men's basketball will face Central Penn in a glorified scrimmage at 4 o'clock p.m. at Liberty Arena. And women's basketball will face Christopher Newport in another glorified scrimmage 4 o'clock as well on Saturday evening. That's all for this week's edition of the Liberty Flames Sports Recap. I'm Zach McLaren, and go Flames!
Welcome, CT.
Thank you.
And
Zeke did not hold back there.
No, he made some statements. One of my favorite ways we can make a statement on this podcast for those who are listening later on is with our little message thing on the below our name. I try to come up with something witty. CT comes up with something witty. John just throws the Twitter handle on there. Makes sense. I imagine, John, real talk, anyone watching this podcast probably follows you. Definitely not me and CT, but you're getting follows.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know. I'm not as witty as you two. That's why I bring you guys in for a little bit of color. But hey, appreciate it. And CT, rated 63rd on KenPom, man. How about the Flames?
Well,
I know. I mean, I don't want to steal too much thunder from our awesome basketball podcast. Shout out to Nick and Will and those guys and what they do. But yeah, basketball is looking fantastic. It's been a blast watching them so far. I mean, just defeating K-State. I mean, even if they've struggled to start the year compared to the talent and money on that roster, it's still a very impressive win. And then getting that follow-up against a tournament team in McNeese, super, super exciting to see what's to come.
Yeah, it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Not the previous teams have been fun to watch. We've been very lucky over the last 5 years, but this is just fun.
Some of the ball movement literally feels like peak Warriors. Like some of the passes that they're making, I'm like, this is amazing to watch. Just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, and Richie, you had a really good tweet the other night during one of these games saying how this team is kind of, brought a fan base together when we needed it, when we were all, down in the dumps, and it's just been refreshing to watch. And, the month of December is kind of, lackluster as far as the games go. You heard Zeke talking about glorified scrimmage, and it really is that, but it will count as a real game. But, once we get to January, this team should have a very pretty record. And in my opinion, we'll talk about it more in the basketball podcast with Nick and Will as we go, but they have a chance. They've set themselves up where they can have a chance to, I guess they've laid the foundation to have a potential at-large resume when we get into February and March. Long ways to go. It's just the foundation. You got a lot more bricks to pile on, but they've laid the foundation.
Isn't there a Bible story about foundation and building a rock?
Build it on a stone, a solid rock, right? Don't build it on sand.
Also, strike the stone. Build the house on stone. Strike the stone. And we're very hopeful that our game on Black Friday, 3:30 Eastern, you can get out. Although I feel like the days of going to Walmart and Target at 3 a.m. have kind of died down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
No. But 3:30 kick. Sam Houston State. Quentin mentioned earlier they're going to run the ball. They have the best defense in the conference. But I think what helps us is that we still have Caden Salter as our quarterback. We are a predominantly running team, but we still have a quarterback that has shown that he can make plays with his arm, with his legs. That if we have to get in a situation where we're throwing the ball and if they put 8 in the box, I still feel pretty comfortable about that. But they have a good team. KC Keeler is a very good coach. It'd be a shame if people started whispering about him going to UNC.
As long as it's on that side and not on the other side, right?
Exactly. But they're coming off a loss last week against Jacksonville State, correct?
Yeah, they lost to Jack State last week. They did, prior to that loss, they went into that game. We talked about it last week, controlling their own destiny. If they won out, they were going to be able to be in the conference championship game and potentially host it. Now, they still are alive, as we mentioned earlier, but they also they don't have the tiebreaker with Western Kentucky, so they need Jack State. They need to beat Liberty Friday, most importantly, and then they need to be big Jack State fans on Saturday. So it'd be interesting to see, how the weekend plays out. Hopefully, fortunately, we hope on our side as Liberty fans that that game Saturday doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it and you heard Quentin talk about it too, but they like to run the ball, but their defense kind of what makes them go. I mean, they won a game, some of those nasty games on
ugly weekday games.
Week Conference USA in October. A lot of those featured Sam Houston. I mean, I think they won a game with 9 points. They won a game with 10 points. I mean, it was just some nasty games, but that was when their quarterback was out, and he had suffered a concussion against Western Kentucky in the second half and missed a couple games and got injured again against I think it was Louisiana Tech and had to exit part of that game and then came back their last couple. But their defense is really good. Their rush defense is really good. They do you heard Coach Chadwell in his press conference this morning talk about how they do a good job of keeping the opposing offense in front of them. They don't give up big plays. They don't make many mistakes. They're sound, and you have to drive the field against them, which, it's hard to do. And that's what Chadwell said is a lot of times offenses, shoot themselves in the foot. They can't take 12 play drives and score. And you hope a Liberty offense, we've at times this year, we've shot ourselves in the foot, whether it's turnovers or penalties or whatever the case may be, missed assignment. You go from a 1st and 10 to a 2nd and 17. It's hard to dig out of that against a good defense. So for Liberty, you just want to stay in front of the chains, keep moving forward, like you did last week against Western Kentucky. You can give the ball to Cooley and pick up 6-7 yards of carry, which I don't think you'll be able to do this week. But if you can get 3 and 4 yards of carry and keep moving forward, you're setting yourself up in good position to put yourself in scoring position and to take advantage of those.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, like, we know this team knows generally what it takes to compete with Liberty or maybe even win. I mean, look at what happened last year with a team who had some unfortunate results, but clearly wasn't as talented as the team is this year. And they came to Lynchburg and were at the 2-yard line away from winning. So their defense definitely has the game plan, and it's a matter of, can we show up and continue to make plays just like we did last week, and then can we stop their offense? I mean, their offense does shoot themselves in the foot sometimes as well, but so can we help force those things?
Yeah, it's a good point you make, CT, is last year they didn't have a great year, right? I mean, it was their first year in the FBS, first year in Conference USA, but for any, Liberty fans or anybody listening or watching this podcast is Sam Houston is a winning program. Rich, you talked about Casey Keeler is a good coach. He's won everywhere he's been. That's true. They won a national championship just a few years ago at the FCS level. That they're used to winning 11 and 12 games a year. The players on that roster are used to winning. So it's a winning program. Just because, they didn't have success or much success last year doesn't mean that they're not a good team, not a good program. They are. They're used to winning. They obviously had a down year last year, but they've quickly rebounded and gotten out to 8 wins, and they're bowl eligible. I mean, they're, not to steal the thunder of the cash and tickets with CT, but I mean, their season win total was 4.5, and that cash before September was done with.
They were 5-0, I think.
Yeah.
They came rolling. So game Friday, players to watch. Always a good breakdown. Joe Carter coming off a 10 tackle game last week against WKU, and Quentin Cooley, no surprise there. Definitely has been standouts on both sides of the ball, and our players to watch going into Saturday. It's a pretty sick chain Joe Carter's got. I'm looking at the screen now. Good hair day. But yeah, so it's a pretty sick chain. We got some players that can flex the chain game a little bit. I can't pull it off, but
yeah, I think Liberty Football even tweeted something out about that with Quentin Cooley and Case Salt, and you could put Joe Carter in that group too. And there's probably others on the team, but some of that NIL money, I guess, going to work there. But no, you mentioned these players to watch, Richie. I mean, it's a championship game, right? I mean, we could get cute and try to figure out, who we should throw up here. I mean, your players have got to make plays, right? I mean, Joe Carter is a leader of the defense, and going up against a team that likes to run the ball with their quarterback. You need your linebacker, your leader, Joe Carter, to make the plays, right? And then on the other side of the ball, Quentin Cooley, same thing. Like, we're going to need him. We've ridden on his back, ridden on his shoulders most of the season. We might need to do it 2 more games to win a conference championship. And fortunately, he has broad shoulders, and I think he can carry us there. We're going to need other players, obviously, right? I mean, it's a team game. You have 11 people on the field at one time, but you need your top players. Rich, you talked about K-Salt. Like, we need K-Salt to have a good game. We need a 2023 version of K-Salt Friday, and then again next Friday if we're fortunate enough to make it that far, because they're going to, just like we're going to try to get them in 3rd and longs, they're going to try to get us in 3rd and longs, and whatever team is more successful in those situations is likely going to be the team that pulls out the win Friday afternoon.
Agreed, for sure. I'll kill the dead silence right there. But yeah, it's going to be, I'm very interested to see how Liberty responds after, we talked about, scripted plays. And was it UMass? UMass came out, punched us in the mouth early, been coming. I'm hopeful that the coming from behind piece is done. This is going to be a tough game to try to come from behind and win. That's what I was trying to get out in my head, but it was difficult.
No, that's a really good point. That's a really good point because, if you can get a lead, maybe like a 2-score lead. Like, I was watching some of that Sam Houston-Jack State game. I was hoping Sam Houston would pull out the win because that give us a chance to play at home, but they weren't able to do that. So, but I was watching some of that game, and that's what Jack State did. They were able to get a lead. They got a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter. And, Sam Houston, not that they can't come back, they can, but they're not built to do that, right? They're built to stay in the game, get it into the fourth quarter and try to win it there, or play from ahead. And, they, like we've talked about, their defense is what they're built on. And they complement that with a strong rushing attack on offense. And one thing, their weakest spot last year on offense, what kind of held them back from having a good season, was at quarterback, but it seems like they found who that guy is. And their QB was really successful. You go back and look at their stats first half of the season prior to that Western Kentucky game when he got hurt. I mean, they're scoring 20, 30, 40 points a game. And then all of a sudden he gets hurt and they go into reverse and they can't string together scoring drives and things like that. And since he's gotten back, they just haven't gotten back into that rhythm either. I hope they don't get back into that rhythm on Friday because that could be a long day for the Flames. I mean, they're a good team. They beat Texas State in a shootout game. I think they scored 40 points in that game to win. So, and Texas State is a team that was preseason up there mentioned with Liberty as maybe a favorite in the Sun Belt and a favorite out of the G5 to sneak into the CFP.
Yeah, going to be exciting. But before we get to Friday, we have Thanksgiving on Thursday. And one of my favorite parts of Thanksgiving is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Now, I'm a sucker for a parade. July 4th parade, St. Patrick's Day parade, Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. And when you think about the Mount Rushmore of parades, I know I just mentioned 3. The 4th that a lot of people don't talk about often is the Leesburg Christmas parade. And with Christmas season kicking off, I think officially on Thursday, we can now start to shift our attention to the December 7th Leesburg, Florida Christmas parade. So a little bit more about Leesburg. Roll the footage.
It's real Florida. It's old Florida, and it's close to all of the Central Florida attractions, crystal clear natural springs, and one of the largest chain of lakes. The beautiful lakefront city of Leesburg offers the best in outdoor adventures, fishing, and quaint shops and restaurants on historic downtown Main Street. Come visit and see how welcoming a hometown city feels. Experience Leesburg, the way Florida is meant to be.
We are back. I'm joined with CT, also back, and college football has turned chaotic. It's like 2007 all over again.
Love it.
I have no idea who's good. I have no idea who's bad. Nothing would shock me. I think we're getting to that point. They just released a 12-team playoff. You got Arizona State in there, SMU. Alabama lurking. I think they're going to put Alabama in. I just can see it coming a mile away. And it's been chaotic, not just in Conference USA, but across the country.
Tulane's even just one spot back behind Arizona State. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll make sure that the Big 12 champ is in as the 5th, if not higher. But right now, according to these rankings, we could have 2 G5 teams in the mix. So,
I mean, who knows? But Boise's like 80-1 to win the championship, which is crazy.
I saw a couple people before the season took Boise at 500-1 to win the national championship. Which obviously they didn't think Boise was going to win, but now with a first-round bye, even you have great hedging spots on a 500-1 ticket. Like
exactly, and they're a great shot. They're going to get in. So. A little bit of drama in that who's going to get that group of 5 spot, pending on what happens conference championship week. But as we mentioned earlier, it's feast week. It's rivalry week. We got some exciting games in Conference USA. And to me, none more exciting, no more on the line than Liberty Sam Houston State. Liberty on the road, 3-point favorites with an over-under set just under 7 touchdowns at 47.5. I like Liberty here. I think rolling on all cylinders, control their own destiny, winning they're in. Sam Houston, they're still that. They still need a little bit more to happen. They're coming off a loss. How much did that affect them? Liberty coming off a big win kind of two teams with different paths moving forward. That over-under is a little low for me. We've seen Sam get into some shootouts. We've seen Liberty with the ability to score points in a shootout or two. So wouldn't touch that, but I do like Liberty -3. But people also call me a homer. So
I mean, I'll be a homer with you. Liberty -3 for sure. We've seen the offense. I mean, maybe turn a corner last week, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, no reason to touch the total. I'd say, if anything, could little sprinkle. Maybe consider on Sam Houston team total under. That could be a look for sure. But yeah, Liberty -3.
Yeah. Another Conference USA matchup on Saturday with really just pride on the line. That's UTEP heading to New Mexico State. New Mexico State also 3-point favorites. I think Vegas has realized, oh, wow, all these games in Conference USA are pretty close. Not going to be a ton of lines that are inflated above a touchdown into double digits. Over under there, 51.5. I got nothing. I'd rely on its senior night and New Mexico. Well, it's senior day out there with a 1 o'clock kick or whatever time it is. I don't know the time zone of New Mexico.
You should. You were just in Colorado.
Is it the same?
Yeah, right next to each other.
So it's 2 o'clock kick. But yeah, no, I guess New Mexico. I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't either. It's funny. All the top 4 teams are all competing to be in the conference championship. And then none of the other teams are even remotely close to bowl eligible. So it's a massive drop off for sure. And yeah, so this game has no meaning except for, I will say, the seniors. So Mexico -3, sign me up. Yeah,
send them out a winner.
Yep. And, I didn't want to change the graphic to only have 2, so that's why they're up there. Let's get to the next one.
No, makes sense. Jacksonville State going to Western Kentucky, the other marquee Conference USA matchup. Western Kentucky -1.5 point favorites, over under 60. Very interesting because if Liberty wins, now this game is even more meaningless. So it's kind of like if you think Liberty's going to win, maybe take Jacksonville. I don't know. It's a very unique situation where if Liberty does win on Friday, how much are these teams going to care?
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting for sure. I mean, my kind of thinking would be right now, I would lean Western Kentucky. Jacksonville State has everything locked up. So there was no need for them to do anything. If Liberty wins, well, whatever. So if Liberty wins, let's run this through. Liberty wins, they get it all locked up. Nothing matters in this game. Honestly, I'd probably lean Jacksonville State at that point.
Rich Rod seems like the kind of coach that's like, we're not just going to mail it in. Like, he wants to have that momentum going. He wants his players locked in. So I kind of would go that route.
Exactly. And Western Kentucky, right now, they're all prepped for, okay, we still have a chance to go win and get in the conference championship. That gets ripped out the night before.
Yeah.
How much do they have to play for? Now, if Liberty loses, then I would say it's a completely different story.
And that line will move. That if Liberty loses, that Western Kentucky line is going to be probably -2.5, 3.5.
Exactly. Yeah. So and Jacksonville State, again, don't need to really play for anything either way. So I mean, I would be sitting guys, but I doubt they'll do that. But regardless, I think it's very conditional what you do in this game. You wait and see what happens with Liberty. At the end of the Liberty game, you make your play as soon as possible because, again, as you said, that line could start moving.
Yeah, so around the rest of the country, it is rivalry week. Awesome week of college football. We got games Friday. We got games on Saturday. And kick things off with our favorite, North Texas -11 against Temple. Temple, not very good at football. Not a good football team at all. I can see North Texas going in and just beating the doors off of them. Yeah, it's senior day at Temple, but I can't imagine people are going to be showing up in droves. So give me North Texas rolling along.
Yeah, I saw there is talks that they may even shut down the program.
I can see it.
So, North Texas. Their quarterback has been hurt, and that's kind of messed with their offense a tiny bit. But, looked a bit better against ECU last week. So, yeah, I mean, regardless, yeah, love North Texas. For me, I'm going back to the well with Kansas. Got the money line against Colorado last week. And now they've been on a roll. They've won, 3 straight games against top 25 teams in conference. They've won 4 straight. And now they have one more mission, one last thing to check off, and they are 5-6. One more win, they get in a bowl. Baylor, they already have their bowl locked up and everything else. So Kansas on the hot streak at Baylor, and with Baylor, nothing to play for again except for the seniors and pride and everything else. But Kansas absolutely on fire. Need that win for the bowl game. Give me -1.
Yeah, Kansas, well-coached team. I like the quarterback. I love them. I'm shocked the line's not even more. So, upset alert, CT. Going with the G5 Fresno State Bulldogs against California and Los Angeles.
We started off early in the season fading UCLA against a G5 team with Hawaii. That almost worked, and I'm running it back here at the end of the season. It's something UCLA, they are 4-7, so they don't have anything else left to play for. It's a new coaching staff that they're not going to know how to end the season. Players probably tired after, having some good, tough games against Big 12 teams. A lot of travel and everything else. A lot of guys who probably were supposed to play under Brian Kelly now having to play under this coaching staff. They're ready to be done with the season. They're tired. Fresno, they've played sneakily well, and they've often had these spots against these kind of teams at the end of the season, against Power 4, Power 5 teams, and they've showed up pretty well most of the time. So definitely like them on the spread, but since we're going money line here, I think they have a shot to win outright. So Fresno money line +280.
Always been a Bulldog guy. Derek Carr, my former quarterback, used to be out there. I'm going Auburn. Money line against Alabama. I think Alabama, I have no idea what Alabama's going to do, but Hugh Freeze always plays Alabama tight, if not beats them. Almost won last year. I just think Auburn, they're kind of rolling a little bit right now.
They are
kind of rolling a little bit right now. They got a lot of momentum. I think Alabama probably seeing their name in the conference in the college football playoffs probably going to give them a little bit of juice. But if anyone can stop can stop Bama kind of in their path, it darn well could be Coach Hugh Freeze. Points. We love points. Rivalry week points. And I took one look. I saw West Virginia, Texas Tech. That's just one of those games. You see those two teams on the field. I see those uniform combinations. I just think of 2017 Big 12 football and just scores in with both teams in the 60s. Just a gaggle of points. I have no statistics to back this one up. This is just a historical play.
Vibes. Totally respect it, and I can say it for sure. I am going for the very last game of the regular season. Outside of, I guess, Army, Navy, but last game of the regular season, 11 p.m. Eastern kickoff on the island, New Mexico, Hawaii, over 61. New Mexico going for bowl eligibility in a year. Bronco Mendenhall's first season, their win total is 1.5 or 2 or something ridiculous like that, and they're going for bowl eligibility. So super exciting for them. They have no defense at all, but their offense is humming. So I think they can put up a lot of points on Hawaii, and Hawaii still has a decent offense themselves. Add in the fact that New Mexico doesn't have a defense, and they can make Hawaii show up some. So partially for the vibes, last regular season game.
Oh yeah,
nighttime. Get it in there, add it into the rest of your plays. But as well, we got some reasoning to back it up. So New Mexico, Hawaii, over 61. Enjoy college football while you can.
Yes, only a small amount of games left. And the game of the week to close out the regular season, pretty much, I wouldn't say unanimous. There's some good games this week, but rivalry back. Texas A&M hosting Texas. The spread is Texas favored by 5.5. If Texas A&M wins, they go to the SEC championship game?
I believe so. Now that they lost it, definitely was before. Now that they lost, I'm not positive what the tiebreakers are, but I do believe so.
I think Texas is pretty good. I think Texas is locked into the SEC championship game.
I think it's if you win this game, either team you win, you're in. If you lose, who knows? I don't think Texas is locked yet.
Which is wild. The SEC has kind of been crazy the last few weeks, but I've been a Texas guy all season. I'm a Quinn Ewers believer. I hope that he is a Raider with a second round draft pick. So, dance with the girl that took you to prom. I've been riding Texas all year. I'm not a believer in Texas A&M. They have not impressed me much this year, but give me Texas. They're used to big time rivalry games like this. Playing Oklahoma, they rolled Oklahoma this year, and I just think Texas will be able to go in, experienced team. They're not going to be thrown off by whatever those male cheerleaders do at Texas A&M.
It's true. I'm not the biggest A&M believer either. I mean, hear me out on that. But situational spot, like this is something that when I have these points here available, I'm going to take them for sure. I think it's something that who is Texas's best win this year? Like,
it's a good point.
Like they have a great reputation, but in reality, they don't have an amazing win. Like if you actually break it down and look at it. So I don't think they are. I definitely don't think they're tier one in terms of contenders. I think that list is very short this year. I think it's Oregon, Ohio State, and maybe Georgia, and that's about it in terms of national championship contenders. I don't think Texas is in there despite their number 3 ranking. So it's something I think they could be susceptible here. Another tough game on the road. No matter how cheesy Texas A&M is, it's still an insane place to play. One of the top couple biggest stadiums in the country. You have this rivalry coming back. Just think about how insane that stadium is.
Great time. It's great timing. The game means something. Like
exactly. Place in the SEC championship on the line. Like so many different variables at play. Give me the home team every single time, and you give me points as well. I have to take it.
This game better be a night kick.
I think it is. I believe it's probably 8, at least Eastern.
Good, because that is no business being a noon game. They're not going to pull a Big Ten and put their betting games at noon, because it's just going to be an electric atmosphere.
7:30 Eastern.
Awesome. Pencil that in. Like that's going to be awesome. So final regular season in the books, but as I said earlier, still some games left, still some opportunities to watch college football around the country, maybe make a little bit of investments while you're doing so. Because sometimes you just try to go rogue, you try to do it yourself, and you feel like your betting luck, it's as erratic as Dan Hurley's psychotic episodes. But Better Bettors Coaching is here to change that. They specialize in transforming sports betting into smarter, more profitable experiences. With personalized coaching focused on smart bankroll management, disciplined betting habits, and data-driven strategies, they tailor everything to fit your goals. Head over to betterbetterscoaching.com and sign up for your complimentary call today. Better Bettors Coaching. With the right coaching, winning consistently isn't a gamble. We're back. John Manson joining us as always for us to close out the 12th, 13th, 11th, 12th, whatever edition this is of our 2024 Sea of Red football podcast. So we got a shot.
I mean, this is what you play for, right? I mean, it's Thanksgiving week. You're in a win and in situation. You win, you play for a conference championship next week, and you lose, you're sitting at home. This is what you play for. This is what you want. And the team that you're playing is a team that's in this pretty much the same boat you are. I mean, they want to win so they can continue their conference championship hopes and dreams. And this is what you play for. And I think, last year, obviously spoiled us and raised the bar significantly for what the expectations were and are for this team and program. But if you would have told me or told any of us, a year and a half, 2 years ago that we'd be sitting here Thanksgiving of 2024 with a win and in chance to compete and play for a second straight Conference USA championship, we'd all take that. No questions asked.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, I don't know if this is a controversial take. If we're undefeated right now, I don't think we're in over Boise.
Or Tulane, probably.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Control what we can control, and luckily we're able to control our destiny going into this. So we'll take it. I'm excited for it. I like our chances to get a win this week and then head to Alabama and hopefully get some revenge in a conference championship game.
And honestly, just continue to spin zone it. I kind of like the spot that we're in.
Yeah.
It's something that all the distractions are removed. If we were undefeated right now, but we're behind Boise, behind Tulane, there's a lot of talk about that. There's a lot of talk about this team is undefeated, but they're still behind these teams, and our guys are feeling that, and they're distracted by that and probably saying we deserve more, whatever it could be. Then you mess up and lose a game. I mean, look at JMU last year.
Yeah.
They show up, have the school suing the Sun Belt or the NCAA or whatever happened. They have game day show up we're the best team, we deserve it. And then they just lay a fat one against App State. That's something that can happen. So we've put ourselves in a spot where our backs are against the wall. I've said that multiple times. And the only thing we can focus on is how to get the next win.
Yeah.
We don't have anything else. And
I think the team
in a weird way, it's the best spot that we could be in.
Yeah. We'll take it. Any final thoughts before we close it out?
Yeah, I was just going to say, kind of echo what you guys are saying. And, I feel really good. I think we're in a good spot. I feel confident. Sam Houston's a good team. They got a lot of talented players, and it's not going to be an easy win. They're not just going to roll over and die for us, right? As a championship pedigree team, they expect to win this game, and then they expect to get some help. And let's be honest too. I think, I know you guys are just talking about it. I think Jacksonville State, Rich Rod's not going to rest his guys. They want to win. They want to go unbeaten in conference play. They want to keep that winning streak alive. So I think Sam Houston feels like if they win, they have a good chance to make it to the conference championship game, because I think, all things equal, a lot of us would expect Jacksonville State to win that game. So, I think they feel really good about their opportunities, but I do feel confident in this team. I think we're in a good spot. We're playing our best football these last few weeks. UMass game withstanding, which that had some reasons why we didn't play well. I mean, it didn't mean anything at all, but we still got to find a way to win. So I like where we're at. I feel confident that we'll be back here next Tuesday talking about a conference championship game. I hope I'm not proven wrong, but I feel confident going into this one.
I have a work dinner Tuesday night. I got to see what time that is.
Well, we can reschedule it. It doesn't have to be Tuesday night.
It should be good. As long as nothing drastic happens, I'll be back.
We'll do it Friday night live from Jacksonville, Alabama.
There you go. You guys making the trip down? CT, you coming down with me?
I don't have PTO to use for this instead of a bowl game.
I was gonna say. Now you're sounding like our good friend Jerry.
Good friend, love Jerry, great friend of the program. But as we've said a couple times, it is Thanksgiving week, and I don't want to speak for John and CT, but I will in this situation. And we are so thankful to get this opportunity to talk about our alma mater's football team, to have the debates online, to watch a football team that has given us so much to be thankful for over the last 12 months. And it's good to reflect on that, and at the same time celebrate what has happened. And then also prepare for the future, be excited about the future, looking through the windshield. So on behalf of our team here, thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Enjoy the Thanksgiving, whatever that looks like for you and your
Richie,
family. Yeah.
we are like 40 subscribers away from 1,000.
40?
On YouTube.
So
get over there to YouTube, hit that subscribe button for us.
Be extremely thankful.
Yes. And it's not just the podcast on there. Like, John is putting out the
press conferences,
like live, like post-game live stuff. Like turn on the notification, and because sometimes you go, oh, you forget. After a win, you're excited, but then it kind of, you can relive that excitement again. You get that alert. You're like, oh, Coach Shadwell's live, Coach McKay's live. To get that right away is fun. Like, I haven't turned on, so really cool to do. So enjoy the weekend, enjoy the football. Hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday with some Conference USA Championship chatter. But as always, stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay fly. We'll see you next week.